Okay guys, if you have found the modular 180 Fat Track turn on Colts 3D and you purchased it and you have questions about printing the pieces, this video is going to show you how to do that. So here we have the modular turn. You can see some cars having some action around here. And these are the pieces that you would receive, the models for these. You can see them here. And if we come over here a little bit on the Colts site, got some more pictures here. You can see sort of a base orientation. You can see how somebody could potentially print these, but this is kind of older. I'm going to show you the latest way. For some of the smaller pieces of track, I orient them so that the letters are facing down and they are flat on the bottom here. And they are supported mainly so that they don't get popped off the side of the printer when the print head is moving around. So you can see I have the seams oriented to go up along this edge here. And that is, like I said, that is very important, where the seam is. And I have the supports set up so that when the print head moves over basically floating sections, that there's something underneath it at least the midpoint of the print. So when you're printing out here, if you didn't have these supports, the only thing holding the print to the bed is all the way over here, and you're all the way over here moving the print head. And so you're putting a lot of force in a direction that you're not necessarily designed to stick to. So if you put these supports under here, you're putting pressure straight down, and that downward pressure has somewhere to go and not basically create this rubber band to pop off the back. I had a lot of prints fail without these. If you have a very good bed adhesion, you do not need these, but this also does reduce vibrations. So when you have a print that's stuck here and you're up here in the top and you're moving around, there will be micro vibrations and it can decrease the quality. So you want the seams to be on the corners. You want support underneath, essentially a floating midpoint out here. So we're over here, we have support here, and then the base is over here. This side never really encounters that. And that can give you a lot more confidence in printing these prints. Another thing that can be useful, so notice these don't have, there's no middle fill here, there's no infill. If you can dial your settings in for your printer, because it's going to be different with everybody's printer, so that the line widths are basically even, and it looks like there's some spacing here, but I mean it ends up being pretty even because it's on a diagonal, so you're kind of always printing over something else and it's sticking. That will make these pieces use less filament, but also the risk of the things popping off the build plate decreases greatly. Alright, the best way to print the 45R300. It is very large. So on a bamboo printer, you actually can't stand it straight up and down. The tip up here is too high. So for my printer, I oriented it in this fashion. And it's important to make sure you draw the seam so that the seam is always over something. In this case, I made sure the seam was always over where the support is, so that every new layer will be essentially pushing straight down where that support is. You can see here how we have this oriented, and it's basically just catching it. So this is the one caveat to all of the track pieces. This is a very large track piece, and it is not easy to print. This is the orientation I found. I hope this helps. Now, of course, 3D printing is not for everybody, and if you just want the track to race on, I do have a shop, ironsdiecastracing.shop. You can find all the pieces that you can purchase on Colts that you could print yourself, or I can print them for you. You can pick different colors. We have different styles. You can get a 45. You can get the 270, which I just showed. You can get various 180s, various colors. And if you want more than just the turn, you can buy a whole track set. You can pick the color, and you can change the base color. And that's just the 180. We also have the 225/45. As well as the 270 +90.